That summer, I spent my vacation at my grandparents' place in my hometown, a small rural town where everyone knew each other. Our neighbor was an auntie I called Aunt Sue. She was in her 50s, lived alone, and was kind to everyone. She often came over to chat with my grandma. One day I was playing with my friend Ahao when I suddenly heard a noise behind me. I turned around and saw Aunt Sue, who seemed to be talking to someone. She kept muttering, "Xiao Shu, Xiao Shu." At first, it didn't seem odd, but the strange thing was that in our village, where everyone knew each other, even my friend who grew up here had never heard of anyone named Xiao Shu. So we went over and asked her, "Aunt Sue, who are you talking to?" She smiled and said, "My Xiao Shu." We followed her gaze but saw nothing, yet she kept talking. We got so scared that we ran back home and told my grandma. Grandma said, "Xiao Shu?" That was Aunt Sue's son, but he passed away a long time ago. Of course, you haven't seen him? Hearing this made my hair stand on end. The next day, I ran into Aunt Sue again and curiously asked about Xiao Shu. To my surprise, Aunt Sue said, "Xiao Shu is at home now. Do you want to go play with him?" Naturally, I didn't dare to go, but things got even stranger. That day, my grandparents went to the city to my parents' house to get me some clothes, leaving me alone at home. Worried I'd be lonely and scared, they asked if Ahao's parents could let him come over to keep me company. We weren't exactly kids anymore, and his house was nearby. Ahao's parents agreed. That night, we played games and watched TV until after 1 o'clock before going to bed. At half past midnight, we heard knocking at the door. It couldn't be my grandparents. They said they'd be back in the morning. But the knocking continued, so we foolishly opened the door. Standing outside was a boy. We couldn't see his face clearly, but he looked about 10 years old. We asked who he was, and in a chilling voice, he said, "I'm Xiao Shu." Then he lifted his head, and we finally saw his face, deathly pale with eyes like black holes. He then shouted in a demonic voice, "I've come to play with you!" We slammed the door shut and ran back to our room, scared out of our wits. The next morning, we woke up drenched in sweat just as my grandparents returned. We never told anyone about it. Even though it's been 5 or 6 years, it still feels like it happened just yesterday.